Hey, it's Ryan from the College Basketball Place. Welcome to the weekend rundown for Bracket Buster Weekend. This is the second video. The other one featured mostly mid-majors. This one's going to feature teams from the major conferences and a little ranked-unranked action. We know you like that. So, check us out at cbbplace.com, and let's get this show on the road. What better way to kick off the weekend rundown than with some top 10 action? Number 8, Wake Forest, travels to number 9, Duke. They're tied for second in the ACC, so let's go check them out. Both these teams have held the top spot in the national polls at one point this season. Wake currently has the edge in the polls. They're at 8 versus Duke's 9, but Duke has the edge in RPI with 5 versus 16. Duke has a tougher schedule. They currently have the 7th toughest schedule versus Wake's strength of schedule of 61. They basically have the same overall record. Duke has 21-5 versus 20-4 for the Demon Deacons, and they have the exact same conference record at 7-4 in ACC play, which is why they're tied for second. The last time these two teams faced off, it was a great game down to the end. Wake got the last second basket to win by 2. I don't see any reason why it's not going to be another great ACC battle. You can check them out on Fox Sports at 7:45 p.m. Now let's keep within the top 25. We've got number 12 Villanova traveling to the Carrier Dome to take on Syracuse, who's ranked 24th in the AP poll, for some great Big East play. Both these teams have RPIs in the top 20, Villanova at 10, Syracuse at 17, and they both have schedules that rank in the top 25 in the country. Syracuse has the edge here with a 13th toughest schedule, while Villanova has a strength of schedule of 24. Villanova has the Big East Conference record edge at 9-4 versus 7-6 for Syracuse, and Syracuse has an overall record of 19-7 versus Villanova's 21-5. Like the ACC battle we just discussed, this is a great Big East battle between two teams who have already faced off once this season. Now, when they played the first time, Villanova got the edge on Syracuse when they managed 102 points to Syracuse's 85. Now, this is being played at the Carrier Dome, though. Syracuse is great at the Carrier Dome. They just beat Georgetown 98-94 there in overtime. Not sure how Georgetown managed to get 94 points, but they had a great second half run when they managed to come back from a 16-point deficit to force overtime. If you want to check out this game between the Wildcats and the Orange, it'll be on Sunday, 1 o'clock on CBS Sports. Speaking of Georgetown, they're in our next matchup. It's Marquette at Georgetown. Marquette is currently tied for second in the Big East with an RPI of 24, a strength of schedule of 88, and a conference record of 11-2. They have an overall record of 22-4, and they're currently ranked 10th in the AP poll and 11th in the coaches poll. Georgetown had a terrible January. They had 7 losses. They had 2 losses so far in overtime in February, but they just won on the road at South Florida. They've got an RPI of 37 and the 3rd toughest schedule in the country. Their conference record of 5-8 puts them tied for 10th in the Big East, and they have an overall record of 14-10. The last time these two faced off, Marquette won by 12 points. Right now, though, Georgetown is desperate and they need a win. If you want to check it out, they'll be on ESPN at 2 o'clock on Saturday. Next up, we're heading down south to the Big 12, Oklahoma traveling to Texas. The Sooners are the second-ranked team in the country, and if they can manage a win over Texas, they'll be number 1 this week since UConn lost. Now, they have an RPI of 2 and a strength of schedule of 28. They've got an overall record of 25-1, and they're perfect in Big 12 play with a conference record of 11-0. Texas, on the other hand, has managed 5 Big 12 losses. They've got a conference record of 6-5 and an overall record of 17-8. They've got an RPI in the top 50 of 46 and a strength of schedule of 40, and if they can manage to take down Oklahoma, it'd be huge for their at-large bid to get into the big dance. The Red River rivalry is always crazy. Last time they played, Oklahoma won by 15, but Texas could definitely use the win this time, and they've got home court advantage, so really anything's possible. If you want to check it out, it'll be on ESPN at 9 p.m. Next up, we're heading to the Big Ten, and we're going to go check out Illinois at Ohio State. Ohio State's been ranked a couple of times this season. They're currently not. They have an RPI of 34, strength of schedule of 34, and a conference record of 7-6, which puts them in 6th in the Big Ten. They have an overall record of 17-7. Illinois, on the other hand, is currently ranked. They're 18th in the AP poll and 16th in the coaches poll. They've got an RPI of 19, an overall record of 21-6, and a Big Ten record of 9-5, which puts them in 3rd in conference play. The last time these two teams faced off, Illinois won at home by 18 points. Things are a little different. Ohio State really needs this win in order to try and make an at-large bid to the NCAA tournament, but both teams, more likely than not, are going to wind up having to try and get at-large bids, so this is a big game for both teams. If you want to check it out, it'll be on at 1 o'clock on CBS Sports. Now we're going to stay within the Big Ten, and we're going to go check out Wisconsin traveling to Michigan State. Michigan State currently sits in first in the Big Ten with a conference record of 10-3 and an overall record of 20-5. They've got an RPI of 6 and a strength of schedule of 6 to go along with their AP poll ranking of 6 and their coaches poll ranking of 5. Wisconsin, on the other hand, is 8-6 in Big Ten play and has an overall record of 17-9. That's good enough to put them in fourth in the Big Ten. They've got an RPI of 29 and the fifth toughest schedule in the nation. Wisconsin can use a big road win if they want to make an at-large bid to make it to the NCAA tournament. And what better way to do it than with a top 5 team and Big Ten rival Michigan State. If you want to check the game out, it's going to be Sunday at 3 o'clock on ESPN. Next up, we're going to take a look at in-state rivals, Arizona and Arizona State. We're heading out west for some Pac-10 action. Arizona is currently on a 7-game win streak. This streak has included wins over Washington, Washington State, USC, and UCLA. They're not ranked, but their slew of current upsets is starting to get them some national attention. They're currently in 5th in the Pac-10 at 8-5, but they are only 1.5 games behind Washington. Their overall record of 18-8 is pretty impressive, and they have an RPI of 42. Arizona State is on their own win streak right now of 4 games, and their 2 most recent wins have come at the expense of UCLA and USC. They're currently tied for second with a conference record of 9-4 and an overall record of 20-5. Before Arizona went on the 7-game win streak, they went on a 3-game losing streak where they lost to USC, UCLA, and Arizona State. Now, they've been able to get redemption for 2 of the 3 teams, and the 3rd team is up right now. Arizona State, though, is currently ranked 14th in the AP poll and 11th in the coaches poll, so who knows what's going to happen. If you want to check it out, they'll be on Fox Sports at 10 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. Now, last but not least, we're going to go back to the Big 12 and check out Baylor at Oklahoma State. Both Baylor and Oklahoma State have top 20 schedules, and it seemed to hurt them this year. Baylor was doing great. They were ranked as high as 19th in December, but then they succumbed to their own schedule. They lost 7 in a row, and they just snapped that this past weekend. They're tied in 8th in the Big 12 with a conference record of 4-7, and their overall record is 16-9. They have an RPI of 53, which definitely puts them on the bubble. Oklahoma State has an RPI of 33. They're still on the bubble, and they have a conference record of 5-6 and an overall record of 16-9. This is a great bracket buster game between 2 Big 12 teams who desperately need to win. If you want to check it out, it'll be on ESPN 360 on Saturday at 1:45. That's it for this version of the Weekend Rundown. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We're going to probably be doing this for the rest of the season, just to give you an idea of teams to keep your eye on come March. So hopefully you enjoyed it. Leave us some feedback, and we'll see you in the forums.